Hi everyone, welcome back. Compound to Freedom, the channel that has as few updates as possible. However, these updates are obviously worth watching for. So I appreciate you if you are watching. Of course, this is number one just for me to blog my progress in the markets currently. And it's been interesting. So, Omicron, big deal. Currently hit the markets around the end of November. Came out from South Africa. We all know the story. South African medical researcher alerted the World Health Organization to state that there was a different variant to the Delta variant that was around at the time. Markets, of course, reacted to this quite harshly, including the S&P 500, the FTSE, and even the ASX. Worldwide, there was a bit unknown because there wasn't much information about the severity of this virus. Early on, a few reports came in to say that the virus was not as severe as Delta, and later on, this is proven to be more and more the case. This really took some of the travel stocks to new lows, and Carnival was no exception. So, unfortunately, Carnival dipped. It dipped quite a lot. So, around about just under 1400, it started to navigate. And after having possibly the best part of a month, or at least 3 weeks on a downtrend from a massive all-time high, and I may have actually alerted you all before that a head and shoulders pattern ended up forming here between August and November. And that's something that I totally missed. So I was thinking at this point in time here that everything was going to be okay and we would be able to obviously move up. Unfortunately, this didn't happen. Omicron occurred and it was ripe for the taking if you wanted a long position. Bargain prices for a lot of travel stocks, including Carnival. For the next probably 2 weeks, Carnival has gone up and down in a little range, but then ballooned out back to where it is here. And if we have a look at the chart, there are two factors that could happen. Now, the US Carnival chart is a little bit different. We'll go to that now. The US Carnival chart actually had a negative day. However, positive signs are it's above the moving average and it hasn't dropped this moving average. Now, there's two possible alternatives. One is that it can continue to trade above the 9 and 13 day moving averages and above the 20 around this mark here, which would correlate to around 1430, 1450. It then, during the spring and summer, would shoot up. And then we would get a retest, I believe, of these highs. I don't know if they would actually reach that now after I've seen this here. It's hard to say. The other alternative is this is going to flunk back down and trade lower in this gap range. So, a few things that I learned. First one, margin trading is for short term, especially when you're trying to grow your account. The risk of having massive downside is huge. You can't expect that you will not have a trigger point if you're trading long for a year, 2 years, 3 years. First thing is margin trading needs to be done really more on a swing or day-to-day basis. You're really running a real risk because of the fact that your time is short. As soon as you're on margin, the time interval is shortened for you. Because of the unknowns, you can't just hold a position without financial pressure. I had a 20% margin and it almost got to that point. And I bought roughly in the middle of these averages here. If I'd bought at near the highs, I would have been stopped out by now. So That's the first thing. Number two is swing trading can definitely be more profitable. Carnival's been a swing trader's dream, and for me, I could have made much more than what I had if I took some of these positions and sold them when the money was good. If you have a money and a price target and it reaches it, at times you should sell. It's a hard gamble because sometimes stocks can shoot up much more than a 10, 20, 30% rise. But if you're doing this regularly, a consistent performance is much better with compounding than having massive winners of 100% or 50% or 200% on a year and then having not much in winners the other years. It's had a roller coaster run as well. My predictions were a bit off. If you remember, I predicted that this chart would, from even October, continue to go up. Well, I didn't expect Omicron to happen. So this has allowed for a bottom, but you can see it's again hit the bottom of a Bollinger Band here. It's gone below the 200. Actually, I will correct myself. Not the 200. It should be the 100. And it's then bounced back up. So that's pretty positive news. And it's retested the high several times. It feels that the S&P is waiting. The US markets are waiting for something. And I'm thinking it's the earning reports coming up in January. When they come through, that will be when this market, I think, will push through. How far, I do not know. I think it will reach to 4,000. The next is the FTSE. So let's go to the 100. Let's drag this up a little bit. The FTSE is finally broken out of this range here, which you could see from about June through to October. This is with all the bad news of Omicron. And it has now hit all-time highs, I believe. If we go back, let me correct myself, all-time highs of the last 2 years, or year and a half since COVID. So right here. And actually it's covered back all its loss. That's what it was at February 2020, 7,400. And it has done this just recently. Let's stretch this back 2 years, 6 months. It is now trading back where it was before COVID hit. So very, very interesting what's going to happen in the next 6 to 12 months. The ASX, it is flattened off. A big part of this here was minerals and the demand for minerals and metals and other commodities has just not had the same impact. So it reached a peak in about August and it has just traded in this range pretty much ever since. You can see at its bottom here how much it was over its average volume. Average volume is about 40 odd million. It doubled this in several days. It also had a cluster here of trading. So that is promising. It means there will be movement up. It also got oversold significantly. So promising signs for Carnival. All right. I hope you enjoyed the update. Nothing much else has happened. Fingers crossed that we will continue to have better months ahead and that Carnival will get up and running in full.